Hello, it is day one of SJ Made Holiday Fair. It is the 24th, so basically Black Friday. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, and this event is today and tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, 2-day event. It is from 11 to 7, so it is currently 10:55, so 5 minutes until this event starts. If you're not familiar, SJ Made is in San Jose. Are we in San Jose? It's in the Santa Clara Convention Center. And SJ Made does have a few events throughout the year. However, from what I've heard, I could also be incorrect. Their holiday fair is one of their largest events for the year. I know they have like Sticker Fest, tiny mini market of like smaller items or whatnot, but this one is more general, so I'm curious to see how it'll go. I do have a lot of friends who do sell a lot of like anime and Ghibli merch that said they did well at this event, so I'm curious to see if that'll be the same this year, at least for me. It is pretty big. I believe there's about 400 plus vendors, and I don't really know the attendance count, but I did hear this tends to be decent or like pretty busy, but again, low expectations. I feel like for the most part, just from before convention experience, I don't know how it's going to be for this particular event. However, they've been really organized and really communicative compared to a lot of the other events that I've done in the past. I think the other event that would be this communicative is probably maybe AX sometimes, or 626 Night Market. It's interesting because just walking around, seeing all the other vendors, it is a lot more general. So you see a few crafty type of work, like there's candles, a lot of stationery. I think there was someone selling jerky. So I'm curious to see how my anime stuff will work, but we'll see. Especially now that this is one of my biggest setups for a 10x10 space, just because I do have the crew necks. I think with some of the extra space, I just tried to fill it in, so it does feel pretty full. And surprisingly, I did get a really good location. There are two entrances. There's entrance A and B. I am basically facing entrance A, so we'll see how it goes. Here is the finished setup. I think it took us about 2 hours to set up. So I did put the catalog up there, so it's for easy access. I usually have the Ita bags like on the side here. However, I did have to put the sweaters, so I thought, you know what, we'll just put it up here. Pins are up here. And then I realized it's actually not too bad to have these bigger pins up on the 4th level, so it should be fine. Put some foam grips, vinyl stickers down here, put some extra notebooks up here, the bear bag, Ita bags, keychain, magnets. I did bring the lanyards this time, I didn't forget. And then the mirror up here again for a free sticker. They just have to post a photo with this on their stories, and then they'll get one of these free stickers. And then I did put some of the Ita bags here on the side. And usually for my night markets that I do have like a six table width, like two 6-foot tables, I usually have them here, but because I do have the sweaters, I just utilized height, put them up here, and then I clipped on the sweaters here so they can see that the embroidery is there on the sleeves and on the chest, and this is basically the layout of the sweater. It is 2:39, so about 11, 12, 1, 2, like 4-ish hours since this event started. It's been on and off, but it's been pretty steady in terms of sales. I would say that there's maybe like a couple minutes break between certain transactions, which is nice, so it's not too overwhelming. I think I probably reached my satisfaction number goal within the first 3 or so hours, so that's good. Again, I did hear good things about this event, so I'm not too surprised, but also, again, lower your expectations. But we'll see how the rest of this event goes. So this is the back of the table. We did put one of each size up here, put some pins over here, put some bags there. These are going to be the sample sizes, so if they want to try the size in particular, we have one of each here. Some electricity if we need it, all this stuff. And then bins down here, storage, and then we use a suitcase just a barrier. And that is the back of the table. Quick update, it is 4:03 and it's starting to slow down a little bit. I think most of the rush was a few hours ago, probably around lunchtime or a little bit after lunchtime. but we did sell out of the Levi pin and the red heart Ita bag, but that's also because I only brought like 2 of each Ita bag, so there weren't really that many to begin with. And for some reason in the past, the red heart Ita bag just wasn't as popular as the pink heart Ita bag, but I feel like up here most people wanted the red one, so I guess just me learning the different preferences of different areas. So it is now 5:41, so I would say about an hour and 20 minutes until this event ends, because it ends at 7. It's definitely slowed down considerably. I feel like the peak was basically an hour after it started until maybe 3 p.m. And then after that, it definitely slowed down a little bit. There were some times where there were a few people purchasing things. However, again, it's not as frequent as several hours ago. It's really interesting because when I was looking at the number of transactions, this is probably the most that I've experienced with a lot of Venmo transactions, because usually I would get more card transactions and then cash, and then Venmo is a very small amount, maybe 100 or less. 100 is still on the higher end. However, this one, Venmo was definitely like second place, and then cash was first place, and then third place was card. I also have heard about this event in that usually Square transactions or just card transactions don't always go through. I am lucky that I do have Verizon, so for the most part, I don't really have a lot of issues with my internet. However, for some reason, a lot of people's card transactions were just not going through, or it was declining. Though I do know that a lot of Chase cards were declining for some reason with the Square terminal, or just Square in general, but it did get better later on. But I feel like for this event, I am pretty happy with the numbers. As I mentioned before, I did hit the satisfactory number baseline probably a few hours into the event, so by now I think it was like double that or so. So I'm curious to see if most people will be purchasing today, which is Black Friday, or if they're coming in on Saturday, which usually for most events, Saturday tends to be the best day of the entire event, just because that's when most people don't have work and are more likely to have free time. But I'm pretty happy with the results from today. Hello, it is 9:27 in the morning, and it is day 2 of SJ Made Holiday Fair. Thinking back on yesterday, I feel as if I did pretty well in terms of numbers, and especially for an event that isn't anime centered, I'm pretty happy with the results that happened. And I feel like it's also because I do have a bit of an established audience space here, considering that I've been to NorCal a few times and I have gone to Fanime, which is pretty close to this location, so I feel like there's definitely that intersection of audience. And again, I do have a very, 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 very good location. I'm literally right in front of entrance A, and I have a corner spot, which helps a lot. And talking with a few other vendors, I feel like location does matter in this placement. In the past years, they only had one entrance for SJ Made Holiday Fair, and I believe it was entrance A. However, this year they did split it to 2 entrances, so there's one towards the front and then there's another one slightly towards the back to help with dispersing foot traffic. I do have a few Artist Alley friends who are towards the back, towards the loading area, and even though there is a little bit of better foot traffic that's been split up, they do feel like it is a little bit slow for them towards the back. However, I feel like overall a lot of friends have said that they're pretty happy with the results that they're getting from yesterday, so I'm curious to see how today will go, especially because 1, it's Saturday, so most people do have this day off, and number 2, it's Small Business Saturday, so this might be an opportunity for them to shop around today. Yesterday was really good. I feel as if even if I matched yesterday's numbers, I would be really happy with this event. If given the opportunity to do this event, I would definitely sign up for it. I ended up putting 2 more grids up here so that I can place the holiday cards up here, as well as the free tote bag with a $50 purchase, just so they can easily see it. So my face is right here, and then it's up here. And I feel like that definitely helps put together. What I also found helpful with organizing the sweaters is just having one of each size up for each color. And then if anyone wants a specific size, like S through XL, I'll just grab it from here. And since 2XL and 3XL aren't as popular usually, then I would just leave them down here. And then if anything, I will just restock them as they go. So it's 2:53 now, and it's several hours since this event started. Again, it started at 11. I feel as if today was about the same as yesterday. or maybe a little bit slower. However, there's still been a few big transactions, even though foot traffic has been a little bit less. I think it's also because I've sold out on a few things earlier today, or even from yesterday, like the Heart Eater bags, the Nanami keychains, even some of my Attack on Titan pins, because they usually don't do as well. However, I think because of the recent finale, a lot of people got into Attack on Titan again, so that was also my fault in not bringing enough of that stock. Even when I compare the numbers, I feel like it's about the same as yesterday, or at least around this time yesterday. However, I feel like yesterday there was a little bit of a rush, probably 30 minutes into the event, and this time it was very slow in foot traffic. Like, it gradually went on and probably got busier closer towards lunchtime. However, now there's definitely a lot more people. It is 5:08, so a little less than 2 hours until this event ends. And now that I'm able to get a better idea of how this event went today, numbers-wise, it might be slightly better than yesterday, though definitely on the same par as yesterday. Definitely more card transactions this time. I feel like yesterday there was a good majority that were Venmo transactions, especially since a lot of people did want to avoid getting taxed through paying with Square. Or a lot of people also paid with cash because they did want to keep to a budget, which is fair, and you also get to avoid tax. Some info about this event. The vendor fee, I think, depends on whether you wanted an inline table or a corner table. It does come with a 10 by 10 space, so all of the spaces are 10 by 10. However, it's just the 10 by 10 space. You do have to bring your own table and chairs and equipment and whatnot, and electricity if you need it. However, you are able to rent out an 8-foot table and chairs for about $40, or you can rent out a table individually for a lower price. So it is a good option if you are flying in. However, it's a little bit iffy just because I do feel like there's a lot of Artist Alley people here at SJ Made. I would say that about 50% of us are people I've seen from Artist Alley at anime cons. So you wouldn't feel a little bit too far out. I don't know the word for it. It depends on the type of merch that you sell. I don't necessarily recommend vending here if you do have to fly, unless it's a very short distance where you don't need to have a layover. But even then, I feel like this event is best if you are from the NorCal area or down in SoCal and all you have to do is drive. I'm personally really happy with my numbers. I think I might have made about the same as AX Chibi, if not better. However, again, I know for some people AX Chibi wasn't that good for them. However, for me, I was really happy with my X Chibi numbers, so again, everything is relative. But if you do have the opportunity to vend here and you can keep your costs decently low, I would recommend trying it out, especially since it's just 2 days and you won't exhaust yourself, I feel, with a 2-day event like this. This is how I'm displaying the sweaters this time. I did just binder clip them, and just to save space, I basically folded them in half. However, I did want to be able to display the details of the embroidery, so there's that, and then just have one that is completely open so that they can see how it is on the sides, and there's one on the chest area. And I feel like this works, and I can't find where the sign is with all the sizing because I do have one for each sweater, and then I'm just gonna cross it off as they sell out eventually, but for now, that'll do, so they can see what sizes are available. And then I usually have a sign of the pricing for each sweater. However, I don't know where the third one is. I will say though, it is really interesting because right now I am still new to apparel and figuring out how much inventory and stock to bring for every event. Or this is my second event bringing apparel. So I did base all of my quantities from last or 2 weekends ago for AX Chibi, and for that event I noticed that more people were purchasing the Sakura crew necks versus the bread and the matcha crew necks. However, at this event, surprisingly, it was the opposite in that the bread crew necks were the most popular. I think for the brown, we only have medium, large, and 3XL left. For the green sweaters, we still have small, XL, 2XL, 3XL. And then for pink, the only one that sold out was large. And I did bring about 3 of each of the more popular ones, and then just 1 of 2XL and 3XL. I'm also referring to this just so I can reference how many I have left, so I don't have to keep going back and checking the stock. there's probably a better way of doing this, but I think it also just depends because it is much colder now, so obviously the sweaters are going to be more popular. But I feel like the next time I'll be able to really test this is probably ALA and Impulse in January, because I am doing LA Comic Con next weekend, and I'm kind of iffy about that because for me it's more of a fun con to just attend and have my expenses paid by selling there, because again it is more Western focused and my stuff is more kawaii anime focused. So I think my saving grace is that a lot of my merch is shonen or of popular shonen like One Piece. So it's going to be hard to gauge my sweater sales with that event since it doesn't fully align with my general demographic, but we'll see.
Hello guys.
Hi, we're Macy's fan squad. I have her purse back at my booth. So. Just pretend it's here. We'll Photoshop her or something.
My NorCal friends. So pretty.
Thank you guys for supporting Macy's.
Thank you.
Macy's.
How was the event for you guys?
It was better than last year. It's really Yeah, fun.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a giant reunion because we're all friends with somebody here. And it's just like, it's a huge networking but fun event.
Nice.
Even SoCal people. There's a lot of SoCal.
Yeah, I was telling Christy, like, oh, like your row is like Artist Alley, like SoCal Artist Alley.
Mhm.
So it is 6:28 and it is almost 30 minutes until this event ends. Overall, I feel like this event went really well. It has slowed down considerably since it is almost closing, and I feel like most people did come around lunchtime. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see how I incorporate stamp rallies into my sales strategy, watch this AX Chibi vlog where I basically participated in 2 stamp rallies. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!